Yeah, that's more luxurious than most places in New York City, and it's a prison in France. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Radowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy, wild, and bewildering news to get into today, as, of course, the situation just took a very complex turn in the 2024 presidential election, as, of course, internationally, there's been a lot of truths spoken by the establishment about Ukraine. What's going on here? What's going to be the future of that war, that conflict, that larger proxy that threatens the safety of the entire world? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was highlighted by a lot of people on social media. I think it's from Prison Noob on Instagram, but I don't know who exactly released this, as a prisoner in France showed the luxurious accommodation he gets that is taxpayer funded, as in some instances it does pay to be a criminal, especially in the social justice era, where, of course, criminals are just literally released out of jail after committing some of the most horrible, atrocious crimes that we can't even mention here. But if you believe a certain political ideology and you commit a crime, yeah, you're going to be in there for a while. This, as of course, we have the weaponization of the justice system happening inside of the United States, as a lot of political opponents and allies of the former president of the United States, who represents the chief opposition party against this regime, is, of course, being heavily prosecuted with his lawyers, with his supporters, as they face hundreds of years in jail, hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees, and jail in some instances for doing what politicians in Washington, D.C. were doing all along. But according to Hunter Biden, who just gave an exclusive interview to Axios and detailed what he is describing as the fight for the future of democracy with this upcoming presidential election, as, of course, his father and his allies are using the legal justice system in many absolute unfair ways against his main opposition party. As Hunter Biden also said that if he keeps sober, that his dad could beat Donald Trump, going on and saying that failure to do so could have huge consequences for the future of democracy. Democracy, a word thrown around, but seems to have lost a lot of its meaning recently. Now, of course, we wish Hunter Biden luck with his sobriety, just like we would anyone else. We're not big proponents of drinking here on this particular YouTube channel, but it's fair to say that this race isn't just about Hunter Biden or his soberness, as, of course, the former and current president of the United States will actually be visiting the border on the same day, specifically going to Texas, where an estimated 7.3 million migrants have entered the United States since Joe Biden took office, an issue that's a very sore subject to a lot of Black Americans, middle-class Americans, blue-collar Americans that, of course, are being screwed over by these sanctuary cities' tax incentives and government money that could have been going to them, but are going to future Democratic voters, as more and more Republicans keep highlighting the criminality, the lawlessness, especially when it comes to illegal immigrants who are caught committing crimes on American citizens who entered the United States without even being vetted or identified. Many of these individuals, they're given special passes to literally get on airplanes without identification. They're given handout, benefits, luxury hotels, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and in some cases, thousands of dollars just to, of course, make their way to places like New York City, a city that, according to many accounts, is already extremely overpopulated. Now, Joe Biden and Donald Trump will not be crossing paths on the border, as more and more people start questioning the decision-making and cognitive skills of the current president of the United States, who, let's just be honest, isn't known for his witty humor or conversation that actually makes any kind of rational or real sense. This as the two vie for political power, as one prominent kingmaker has just passed away, according to the reporting from The Independent, as Lord Jacob Rothschild, someone that, of course, we know and somewhat interviewed here on this particular YouTube channel, have recently found out has lost his life, most likely due to old age, as of course he was 87 years old. As Lord Jacob Rothschild was a financier, member of the Rothschild banking family, and described as a man who had a, quote, towering presence in many people's lives, as well as, of course, a major passionate supporter of Israel and Jewish culture. His prominence and role in politics and international banking cannot be understated, as of course many media publications are talking about his influence in the arts, when, as of course we know here, he was a lot more influential than just in that particular aspect of our society. And of course many corporate media organizations are calling him a philanthropist, as really he was a very important internationalist, a globalist, and a man who was the head of the Rothschild's empire, who of course is no longer here with us. Media organizations are also talking about how his worth was nearly $1 billion, when of course in all actuality, there's a lot of people who believe that that number is significantly underreported, as very prominent rich people always have a good way of hiding their money, their assets, and all the things that they have bought, usually under trusts and secret organizations that people never really know about. Jacob leaves behind 4 children, Hannah, Beth, Emily, and Nate, and now his daughter, Hannah Rothschild, will be, of course, the chair of the Rothschild charity organization. And as much is still unknown about this man, a lot of it is still secret, and maybe one day will be known to the general public. Now, whatever your reaction to this news might be, as an independent news organization, I think it's important not to celebrate death or to cheer it on, as of course it is something that we all particularly face. A moment of uncertainty for some, as of course life is fleeting, it is short, and it eventually gets all of us no matter what we do. Even though there's a transhumanist agenda with some elites like Jared Kushner who are trying to live forever, still, I think it's important not to celebrate death like a death cult usually does. This, as of course, is another crazy story outside of the Israeli embassy, which we are going to be specifically talking about on LukeUnfiltered.com, as of course it is a not so family-friendly topic to discuss here on this particular broadcast. As of course, you guys signing up, it's more important than ever for this independent media organization. You not only get special reports almost every single day just for members, but also, of course, a lot of exclusive offers of value. We are going to be doing shows this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 2-hour-long podcasts that you guys as members get to participate in, you guys get to call in, and more importantly, this Saturday, we are going to be, of course, celebrating life and all the incredible things that come with it by, of course, building a community, getting to know each other here in South Florida, as we are doing an in-real-life meetup for members of LukeUnfiltered.com and the people who are members of my Twitter page. The address of the location will be released 24 hours before the event, and we look forward to, of course, getting to know people here in the local community, as we will be breaking bread, sharing stories, and just kind of hanging out with each other in a low-key kind of event. A lot of events are usually high stress, you got to organize stuff, you got to perform. None of that here. We just sit down and we just get to know each other. We just talk. And that's exactly what we are going to be doing this Saturday in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 4 p.m. Eastern. Excited to meet all of you incredible human beings there. As of course, there's still a lot of really crazy news specifically happening in Ukraine, with their intel chief just coming out and detailing how Alexei Navalny, the political opposition leader to Vladimir Putin, died of a blood clot, died of natural causes, as even the former head officer of a regional Ukraine military recruitment office was caught with $1 million in cash, highlighting some very clear corruption issues inside of Ukraine, as the New York Times even officially detailed how the CIA has been involved with Ukraine for over a decade, waging a secret war against Russia, with setting up as many as 12 secret spy bases in the country. This, as tensions have been escalating, the war is only expanding. NATO made a very important declaration, as some EU and NATO member states are even considering sending troops to Ukraine right now. We're going to be detailing that story later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern, all here on this independent media broadcast. 2-hour live podcast available for you guys. Sign up as a member for lukeunfiltered.com, and you guys get the ability to call in, as of course we have a lot to discuss. That conversation continues later on today and also on lukeunfiltered.com. See you there. As of course, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys signing up and sharing this broadcast. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.